been encouraged.
Welcome, sir.
और जी कैसे हैं?
No,
सर मैं
sir.
संतोष शुक्ला
Sir,
सागरे।
pranam.
जी जी
Pranam, sir, pranam.
सराजुद्दीन साहब नमस्कार।
नमस्कार,
सभी
sir.
गुरुजनों को मेरा प्रणाम। मैं
अच्छा,
मुकेश आईसीएसएस डॉक्टरल फेलो एएन सिन्हा रिसर्च इंस्टीट्यूट से।
Welcome.
Namaskar.
Good afternoon, all respected honorable sirs. I am Dr. Amit Kumar, Munger University, Munger.
प्रोफेसर शिव कुमार जी नमस्कार।
Namaskar, namaskar. Sir, yeah.
नमस्कार सर, नमस्कार। प्रोफेसर इस्लाम साहब नमस्कार।
Dr. Amrish Kumar ji, many people are trying to join. Please help them in joining. Some people are saying that
Please let everyone in, I think. Please let everyone in.
some people are
Mustafiz,
saying that they are not being joined. So you please take the care. Dr. Amrish Kumar Rai, who is the technical man behind all these episodes, he from
He be congratulated for his active involvement.
actually sir.
Yeah, yes, yeah.
Our
And
today's president,
he deserves heartfelt appreciation, Dr.
Actually.
Amrish.
actually sir.
Namaskar, sir.
We thank both of you. Thank both of you.
Yes, sir.
Hello, fellow geographers, senior geographers of South Asia. Our today's president, Professor Phatke Sahab, but he's facing trouble in joining. So, with all respect to you all, may I today's moderator, Safdar Ali Siraji Sahab, to start the proceedings. Phatke Sahab, today's president, is trying. Professor Siraji may seek permission.
Please go ahead.
Thank you, Professor Quraishi. First of all, I would like to welcome all the online participants of today's 30th episode of the online lecture series on founders and makers of modern geography in India. Today, 11th December, and this is Indian Standard Time, 4 p.m. Now, this episode is wholly devoted to the summary for the finalization of the celebrations of the 100 years of geography in South Asia. Today's keynote speaker, today's president is Professor V.S. Pardike, who is former professor and head of Geography Department, University of Bombay, Mumbai, ex-president Bombay Geographical Association. Today's keynote speaker is Professor M.H. Qureshi, former professor and head CSRD.
इसमें आवाज नहीं आ रही है यार।
I think
आवाज नहीं आ रही।
Professor
Today,
Devendra.
sir, Rani, I am audible.
Audible, sir.
Yeah.
You may have your own technical reason.
You are all audible, sir.
Yes, audible,
Yeah.
sir.
Sir, so today's keynote speaker, as I have just told you, Professor M.H. Qureshi, former professor and head CSRD, Jawaharlal Nehru University, New Delhi, India. I being moderator, Professor Dr. Safdar Shirazi, Department of Geography, University of the Punjab, Lahore, Pakistan. Today's chief guest is Professor Nazrul Islam, Dhaka University, President, Asiatic Society of Bangladesh and Chairman, Center for Urban Studies. Distinguished guest, Professor V.K. Srivastava, Professor Emeritus, former professor, head of Department of Geography, DDU, Gorakhpur University of Gorakhpur, Uttar Pradesh, India. And then we have Professor R.B.P. Singh, former Vice Chancellor, Patna University, and Nalanda Open University, Patna, former professor and
जी
head
प्रणाम
of
सर।
Department of Geography, Patna University, Patna, India.
ज्वाइन किया जाए।
Now today's intercessor,
ज्वाइन
as
कैंसिल
ever,
हो गया सर।
Professor Dharmendra P. Singh, and we have organizing secretaries
क्या हो गया कौन
Dr. Amresh Kumar Rai and Dr. Amit Kumar. With this word, I would like to, before I request Professor Qureshi to give his keynote address, I would request all the participants, online participants, after completion of the keynote address, our discussion shall wholly around the keynote address, which will be given by the Professor Qureshi. So, the discussion or the suggestion given by the Professor Qureshi. So we have to discuss only those, and all those colleagues who want to add up in some suggestions or some recommendations, they are requested to just briefly introduce themselves and come straight to their point. So I will request they should suggest point-wise suggestions to what Professor Qureshi has may have told us. But if you have something new, you can add. Rather, we shall discuss the same recommendations, same suggestions, which will be put forth by Professor Qureshi. So we will have almost 4 minutes for each speaker for their discussion. And further, I will request if they have their suggestions, they can share those suggestions via email or via WhatsApp. And WhatsApp number have been given into the today's invitation. So with that, I hope I have communicated myself to the worthy colleagues who are online, and they will vigorously participate in the discussion after the keynote address by Professor Qureshi. Now I'll request Professor Qureshi to.
सर सिराजी सर,
Ji.
just a minute.
Yes.
Before the keynote address, we have a welcome address by Professor Kabir Mohan Sethi, a professor of geography of Utkal University, Bhubaneswar, Odisha. So first we have
So
a welcome address, sir.
So please.
Thank you, Professor D.P. Singh, sir, and others. Good afternoon, one and all present in our webinar. And also, I welcome you all, hearty welcome to all my senior professors and my colleagues, and also my dear students, those have already joined from different areas, from starting from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, and also starting from other countries, South Asian countries. It's really great pleasure for me to welcome you all, because you all are the stalwarts of the geography, because geography without you people doesn't have any meaning. So whatever we are going to discuss, because I was attending a lot of series, but it was my pleasure to meet Professor Devendra Prasad Singh at Hyderabad last week, which gave me immense presence, that pleasure that we could have a finalization of the founders and makers of modern geography in India with the help of the 30th episode of the online lecture series. So I found that whatever the decision and also the discussion and also the lecture has already been made by you people has got already a lot of meaning, because the future generation and also the present generation could come to know what geography is, and also who are the pioneers of the geography. Those have already given their contribution to the field of the geography, for which we people are in debt for them. So whatever I found, there are so many things has already been done by the Professor Devendra Prasad Singh and most of the senior professors. Those are present now, and also those have already not present, and also they have written few chapters for on the professors. Those have already been here and the past away teachers. From my department also, Professor B.N. Sinha, Professor D.K. Singh has already been passed away, and also we are going to write about them and in this founders and makers of modern geography in India. So I once again I welcome all my professors, Professor from Pakistan, Siraj Isra, Bangladesh, Professor Islam, CSIR, SSR Research Fellow Mukesh Kumar, Professor Shukla, Professor H.S. Sharma, and my guru and teacher, Professor M.H. Qureshi sir. And also Professor Shukla is present here and Professor Sharma present here and other members and my friend Suresh also present. Professor Suresh is present here. So I will not take much time to in between the lecture of my professor Professor Qureshi and between the participants. I once again welcome. One correction was there, but it has been made by Professor D.P. Singh. That is not population of geography. That is geography of population. We have to read that in the column E. It is geography of population. So column has already been up to H. It is clearly mentioned, and it will definitely help us to write these chapters in future for the future generation. So once again, I welcome you all, and we must get some knowledge and also get some ideas from our Professor M.H. Qureshi sir. Well, I must thank to Professor D.P. Singh to give me this opportunity. Thank you, sir. I welcome once again to all of you to this webinar.
Thank you very much, Professor Amrendra Harchandra Chand, Chandranan. So, pardon me if I couldn't pronounce your name properly. Now, I'm grateful to you for very encouraging remarks regarding what we have already done, and we hope you will keep continuing supporting us and encouraging us to make the 100 years of geography in South Asia a success. Thank you very much. Now, I'll request Professor Amit Qureshi to give his keynote address, please.
Thank you very much. I welcome all of you. But the problem is that one should not go for what in Sanskrit is known as pist patient. पीसे हुए आटे को दोबारा पीसना. That is not desirable. I have already given a keynote address, and on the basis of what was transpired, I had tried to summarize. I may not claim that the summary is all inclusive, but at the same time, some suggestions have come. For example, there should be one other topic which has to be developed is theoretical geography. One more suggestion came from Ali Raza Musbi around this theoretical geography, and also Dr. Sudesh Nangia, who was my colleague, she also talked about theoretical geography. My understanding is very, very weak in theoretical geography because I remember one of our mentors, Professor Munisarza, who said that geography is just like a dinosaur, a huge body, a long tail, and little head. It means that we have been extremely weak in theorization. What are the geographical theories? The theories may be in physical geography, maybe in agricultural geography, economic geography, social geography, but theoretical geography as such, I could not understand, and neither I have this capacity to theorize. However, uh, on the basis of what I could summarize, and by adding or two more topics which you want to discuss, you go ahead with the discuss because there is no justification for another keynote address. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Qureshi, and I agree to Professor Qureshi because he has communicated his thoughts and his ideas after collecting all the information from the colleagues. So, with this, I will request the house is open, and if somebody wish to contribute further to what Professor Qureshi has already mentioned, this forum is open for them or him or her.
No, I think some names have been mentioned, and I think if you go by serial, then it will be better because
I
this
think
4 minute is going to be given to everyone, and there are 18 listings, 18 names have been given. So either you can go because opening the house may create confusion. So one
but
can go only if they take
Professor
3 minutes,
Qureshi, the
4 minutes,
list
whatever.
which have been provided to me is actually the chief guest, and if the chief guest supposed to give talk, they are welcome. What Professor Dervendra Singh provided is actually the names, I think. So, Professor Dervendra, if you
thing is that we got a small write-up from Professor Qureshi. Can anybody just read it out or display in the screen so that we can have an overview what he has suggested?
let me take out, and I'll try to read. Uh,
उनको भेजिए ना लिस्ट भेजिए
Sir,
I
may
had
may I
sent,
sir?
I had
May I
sent
update?
you to be
Yeah, it is
circulated.
18 number because if we will start with Professor K. Kumaraswamy from Tiruchirappalli, India. First is Professor K. Kumaraswamy, Tiruchirappalli, India.
Jeev.
If he is not present, then the Dr. S. Chattopadhyay, Tiruvananthapuram, India. Would you proceed like this, sir?
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yes.
I'm myself, Sri Kumar Chattopadhyay from Trivandrum.
Okay.
In fact, I've gone through Professor Qureshi's note, I think, which is very comprehensive. All the points, and I think one more point he talked about that theoretical geography. That's fine. But I have, in fact, a couple of supplementary to those which Professor Qureshi spoke about. And I have communicated my write-up to Professor Devendra Singh. I've sent an email. I'll just briefly indicate those. One issue will be that after we get the departmental, how the geography has developed in the department, maybe to consolidate it at the state level before consolidating at the national level. Because with all the states, in India, and also try to look into Andaman, one of the union territories, and of course Delhi comes on this one. So that is one point has to really come in, that we have a one level of a consolidation at the state level, so that we know what is really happening in the state. The second point, which really I thought of to highlight, that under each of the items where you are trying to talk about the subject wise, like geomorphology and all those, there should be one area which is called the emerging issues. There are new issue which is emerging, which have not yet started. One of the thing in one of the international group at the moment I'm interacting, they talk about the finance geography, because so much has happened in the case of a finance technology, particularly the IT development and how it is going on. So the finance technology is one of the emerging field which is coming up. Maybe we can think of it. Similarly, there are a couple of other issues which can be thought of, that how really the emerging issues are coming up and what really our South Asia is responding to that. Third issue, which I thought, of course, for the subject wise, I have some suggestions, like with the geomorphology, we should go a little bit with the hydrology and soil geography, and then disaster management to put in. But these things are all, their details can be worked out. But more importantly, when we talk about the Association of the South Asian Geographers, we should also think of a journal of South Asia. To tell you very frankly, all of it is experience for all of you, that we don't have really a good journal. There is a need for having a standard good journal, which has to be really very seriously thought of. That okay, let us try to really work out on that. Then, in case of when we try to really work it out with the 100 years of geography, time to time, in case of India, I think it may be true for the other countries also, that our Indian National Science Academy try to consolidate the geography research. at a different point of time. So both Indian National Science Academy and Indian Science Congress Association, I think the same thing maybe with the Pakistan, Bangladesh, and Sri Lanka, that they are national association, science association, they are to really look into it and to involve them that this is the 100 years is going to happen, and we really try to how really it goes as a part of this development. So that needs to be a little bit looked into it. In case of again, in case of India, as because in my institute was involved in it, that is the Ministry of Earth Sciences, which really promotes all the earth science groups. So to involve these, because some amount of a government involvement will be required, because you need to have a finance, you need to have a programs and all those. The next point which I really thought of, that we should develop a program, not these volumes alone. There can be a sort of like a seminar, debate, essay competition, and every state. Say once you form a national committee, one is the South Asian committee. Then each national, at the national level, we have a national committee. Then from that, to have the activities at the state level. That is a sort of a one issue we should have thought of. We should also have to thought of how the associations, existing association, like say NEGI, or the association in Calcutta, or in BHU, or in Chennai. Similarly, in Pakistan and Bangladesh also, there are maybe associations. How those associations, how they will be looking into this one, and how what sort of a things they like to do that. And we have to really develop along with the associations that because finally they carry forward the researches. And the trend of the research is possible if we really go through the papers which is being published in their journals. So involving this association is one of the things. The final suggestion is, I think Professor Freeman wrote a book on 100 years of geography. Maybe we have to little bit scan through it, look into it, what really they try to talk. And then there's 100 years of geography in Cambridge, there's 100 years of geography in Leeds. There are some of those examples are available. So maybe a sort of looking into that how really they organized and how they develop, that may also help us. The final point is that if we really have to 100 years in 24, as we are thinking all, that a clear cut, after all these which we are doing, a clear cut sort of a paper analysis, the direction in which the geography is going in this some continent, in which direction we are really going. That needs a little bit analytical study. Say we can take the status paper for each of the subjects, that's fine. But as a whole, what really in which directions we are really moving, that need to be looked into. This becomes very important in the sense that if you look into take the US or in other countries, that the physical geography development and the social geography development, I think there is a divergence. In fact, in Canada, people tell that we don't see each other even. So the geography which we try to talk about the integration, whether finally we are actually drifting apart with the physical and social, or we are putting them together. And you are putting them together, what really is very, very theoretical as well as practical analysis, that where actually we are heading. Will it be heading a situation where the subject gets disintegrated, or will it be a situation where the subject stands as just a tool with other subjects, or it really stands as a science, a unified science? Maybe some amount of very, very what is called the very critical analysis of the trained may be necessary. Thank you very much.
Siraji Sahab, one proposal was there that the summary paper provided by our Professor Qureshi Sahab be read it out. So may I request Amrish Kumar to read it for the knowledge of people who are here. Professor Amrish Kumar. May I request Siraji Sahab to Amrish Kumar to read it out? Amrish Kumar ji, you please present the summary paper provided to us by Qureshi Sahab. Please present it before our audience. Yes.
You are audible.
It is geography of population. It should be read as geography of population. Report prepared by Professor Qureshi Sahab.
No, but actually, what I had suggested that this should be circulated.
I have already circulated, sir.
But then what is the need of reading it? If it is circulated and people have it, then there is no need of wasting the time. But you see,
it was suggestion from some of our friends to present it because they might not have seen it.
okay, it means that it has not been properly distributed. All those who are attending, at least their emails are there, WhatsApps are there. When we are able to get your WhatsApp message for organizing this type of discussion, then the suggestions and the summary should have been sent like that. Now, people are, I think Professor Siraji may not remember all that what has been said. Well, all right, if it can be discussed even after reading, that is fine. And if other points like Professor S.K. Chattopadhyay has suggested, we can again go through it and revisit the whole issue.
Okay.
Okay, Professor Shirazi, go ahead, whatever you have got.
Sir, you have to make your mic on. Siraji sir, make your mic on.
Siraji
अनम्यूट
Sahab,
कर लो सर, अनम्यूट कर लो.
Siraji Sahab, the list is also there. You see,
So,
you open the poster. In the poster
yes,
it
I
says,
have. We have next speaker, Professor R.S. Yadev, or
yes, yes.
now today's third panelist is Professor R.S. Yadev, Banarsi, India. I will request him to talk on Professor R.S. Yadev.
He is trying,
Yeah,
sir.
good afternoon to one and all. I would like to share my view that last meeting I discussed things quite elaborately, and it was submitted in hard copy to Professor Devendra Singh and also Professor Qureshi. They have taken care of that, and whatever things are accepted, I go with that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Professor Yadev. Now I will ask Professor Mita Chauhan, Mumbai, India.
Namaste.
Professor Chauhan.
Yes, thank you, sir. With my sincere prayers to Almighty and His blessings to one and all, I'm indeed happy to associate with you all. Thank you, Devendra Singh, sir. Maybe what I suggest is something slightly different. I wish that the association that is decided to be formed of South Asian geographers is more apt, and this association, once formed, can take lead in organizing the study tours for the school and college children, because we need to strengthen the subject of geography at both the levels, particularly to observe the physical features, unique physical features of the regions which are not available universally. And secondly, also have field trips to rural areas to study the rural settlements and their life. This will increase more enthusiasm and interest in the students studying geography subject. And second important point I feel is geography is mother of all sciences, but yet we see that it is not getting a good standing in all the placement advertisements that are there. So we need to appeal and see to all the governing bodies at all the levels that our subject is also mentioned in most of the advertisements that come, which really has more importance. And because market is very important, and until and unless we don't project our subject also from that viewpoint, because what is important is, as Sri Kumar sir said, that emerging issues of finance geography. So having placement for geography students, for geography candidates is also very important. We need to strengthen on this aspect. And all other things Qureshi sir and other senior geographers have already highlighted. So thank you so much, sir. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Professor Chauhan, for your thoughts about this 100 years of geography in South Asia. We will definitely adhere what you have suggested. Now I'll request probably Professor K. Kumaraswamy is here. Number one panelist, Professor Kumaraswamy.
Yes, yes, I joined because I was away for some time. I was in Bangalore. So thank you very much for your invitation. And then I all endorse you for whatever things that are happening. Probably we need a union of South Asian geographical associations. And we can proceed because I have given all the remarks to Professor Qureshi. Probably whatever I have pointed, I stress once again. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Kumaraswamy. Actually, let me say something about Professor Qureshi said. We all have received his email and we have gone through all those. And if anybody need to add, that's why we have organized today's discussion or online meeting. So that is the reason I have gone through it well. Now I'll request the fifth panelist, Professor Salauddin Qureshi from Aligarh Muslim University, India.
Uh, Good afternoon, sir. And it's so kind of you to have included me in the panel to make a couple of suggestions. In fact, mm, a marginal addition from my side that I would like to share with the learned colleagues here. One important thing, perhaps, in the Indian context, and very much in the Indian context, is that we include a paper of for uh, inclusion in this 100 years celebration volumes, the geography of social inequalities, particularly in the subcontinent perspective, I'm saying. Because why I say it? Because I hold a concept, a philosophical concept of masawat, that is parity. I hope Professor Sabdaradi has taken it.
Yeah.
Masawat, please tell my students there in the postgraduate level that look here, Masawat is parity and parity is productive. If we are socio-economic, if there is a socio-economic parity in any country, it adds to the productivity of that nation. And secondly, it adds to the geopolitical resilience of that particular country. So, because most of our neighboring countries, and we are in fact a very large economy and a diverse economy, and as compared to our neighbors, we need to be more friendly and sharing of our resources. I mean, mutual resources with each other. The point that I would like to make a comparison between ASEAN and the SARC. Yeah, the ASEAN nations are doing much better socio-economic collaboration. And that is why there is a higher order of equilibrium between these countries as compared to, rather, I may be pardoned to say, a namesake SARC organization. Because there are so many conflicts. In the modern world, as our Prime Minister had the other day said, made a comment about the Russia and Ukraine war, was telling the Russian supreme power that look here, it is not the age of war. Likewise, it is not an age of any sort of contradictions and conflict between our own neighboring countries. The third point that I would like to, and I would be brief and would be making an overview on this particular point is, yes, sir, a very crucial point is for a global peace, the first thing that comes is regional peace. And regional peace comes through regional cooperation. I am more in favor of regional cooperation rather than globalization. Globalization is so conflicting and so much cutthroat competition is there in globalization. The answer to globalization is regional cooperation. And regional cooperation would remove the socio-economic inequalities, the geographical inequalities of the region as well as of a particular nation. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Professor Qureshi. You have suggested a very thought-provoking uh, uh, branch of geography, which is geography of social inequality in South Asia. I agree with you, and we agree with you. There are certain regional organizations, and like European Union, like you have mentioned, African organizations. So they all helping each other to uplift the neighboring country. We have seen example in the case of Greece. Greece was about to default, but the neighboring European countries, they help financially Greece, and now there is no issue, because once issue raised in a country, the effects definitely transported to other countries as well. So it is better we shall socially equal, so nothing to be transferred from one country to another. And I agree, the peace is the key to prosperity. Thank you, Professor Salahuddin Qureshi. Now I will request Professor NC Jana Bardhaman, India. Professor
He, he will
NC
join later
Jana.
on. He will join later on.
Okay. Uh, is Professor MS Jaglan is here?
Glance.
Yes, I'm here.
Please, Professor Jaglan.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. And uh, I think the program or the list that has been prepared by Professor M. H. Qureshi, as always, in fact, he is quite comprehensive. But I would like to, say something about some of these points, particularly the point number one, then point number two, and also point number. Now, I believe that it may not be possible to raise an organizations as soon as 2 years, because point number seven says that we are going to we are going to celebrate uh, 100 years of geography in South Asia in 2024. So my suggestion would be that is it possible that instead of an association of geographers of South Asia, we have a federation of the associations of geographers of South Asia, because already we have some national federations, national associations which are working in every country, in India, in Pakistan, in Bangladesh. So and then I think it would be a good idea to rope in all of them also, because anyway the celebrations is has to be done by everybody, and they have been serving this particular discipline for a long time now. So this is one idea that is considered. And then regarding point number seven, because celebrations, of course, requires 224, 2024 is not very far away. So we require an immediate, organizational structure to decide about the modalities of the celebrations and what are exactly the things or the that we are going to include in this. So in this regard, in fact, my suggestion was for the point number one, and then for point number four. This is very comprehensively, enlisted the task. Professor Salahuddin Qureshi was talking about the geography of social inequalities, but I think that will be covered in the social geography and geography of social well-being. It is not different from that. So inequalities are the integral part of the studies in the social geography and the social well-being. So the question is that how we are going to execute this particular, the point number four is very important as far as I am concerned, because this is going to here we are going to talk about all the development in the different branches or the sub-disciplines of the geography that has taken place during this period. So for this also we will require some sorts of a nodal agency of the geographers, or a federation kind of thing that would rope in the people from different countries, and then as it was suggested, that has to go even up to the state level. So how we are going to organize it, this is a much more important question to me, because this is a very comprehensive way of looking at the things. If you are able to achieve even 80% of this, I think that will be a big achievement. But for that, we need an organization or a federation kind of thing. Thank you very much. This is the only thing that I have to say.
Thank you, Professor Jagnan, for your very constructive comments on what Professor Qureshi suggested in his email. Now, earlier Professor Qureshi was of the same view. To establish an association of Asian geographer will be a daunting task. Obviously, say 6, 7 countries and the professors of, but your suggestion is also workable. We can have a federation of the associate national associations but there is no harm to give it a try to the establishment of the Association of South Asian Geographer. So we can work on to these modalities. In the meantime, we can work collectively with the national uh, associations or organizations. So I think Professor Dravinder and Professor Qureshi will second my opinion. If we can give it a try to formulation of the Association of South Asian Geographers, and in the meantime, we can collaborate the national associations to come up a strategy, a roadmap for the celebration of the 100 years of geography. No doubt, the 2024 is obviously after a few weeks, we will be in year 2023, and we will only 1 year to organize everything. So I think that it's a good idea, and we shall pursue for that. Thank you. Now I will request Professor Uttam Sagar Cherista from Kathmandu, Nepal. Professor Uttam Sagar. So I don't think Professor Uttam Sagar is online at the moment. So we can wait for when he will join. We can ask him to give his suggestions or his talk. Now I'll request Professor Jitendra Shukla, Ranchi, India. Professor Jitendra Shukla. I think, is he online?
Sir.
So we shall proceed to our 10th panelist, Professor Shamim Ahmad Shah, Srinagar, India. Professor Shah.
Thank you, Professor Sabdar Ali. A very good afternoon to all of you. Worthy Professor M.H. Qureshi and other senior professors there. I think as Qureshi Sahib referred in the initial remarks that we actually have discussed these nitty-gritties as the basic paper which Professor Qureshi sir had developed was already circulated. I think we actually, even most of the people responded to that in true sense. I don't have much to say about that. That's very, as all of us are having a consensus, that's a very comprehensive list as such. There is a possibility of including more things, as the other panelists have already suggested. My submission is regarding the point number one, that we actually have to take some kind of a shape. As you referred in terms of the Association of South Asian Geographers, I think we need to take a call that some kind of a committee or ad hoc committee should actually start beginning with it. It's always that you start working on certain aspects, otherwise it actually will roam around and will not be able to catch up. So we need to think about that there has to be some kind of a shape, and in this present context where the digital world is around, it's not a big thing as such. We can give it a shape, and then subsequently, I'm sure that we don't have to register it in the individual countries as such. So we can give it a shape as such that it will develop, and then subsequently, I'm sure that this will help in the celebration component as such to devise the nitty-gritties. I think more consensus has to be on that how we actually will be able to fix in terms of how to celebrate and where to celebrate and what will be the nitty-gritties. As far as the content is concerned, I think there are many more emerging areas of geography which are coming up. Qureshi sir will bear me out in terms of there are more than 32 or more commissions as far as IG is concerned. There are more things which are coming up, whether it is mountain areas, whether it is tourism geography as such, which has emerged as a very important area in terms of the geographical studies and which has a very wider. But coming up as a volume on that particular aspect in the Indian context or in the South Asian context is a very Herculean task. Because it's a very new area emerging in geography, so we actually can't afford to have one volume on that. But subsequently, they will be part of the main other subfields as such, which will be taken care of. So I think as far as the content in terms of the volumes are concerned, that's okay. There are not much things to be taken, as Quresh have referred, in terms of the theoretical aspects of it. But will we be able to make a volume out of that particular, whether it's a theoretical geography as such? It will be very big task, as Quresh have already referred in the initial marks as such. So we should concentrate on the certain aspects where it actually should come up in something. So I think that list is very comprehensive. The other point which is there in terms of the preparation of a model course content for different papers, which again is a very difficult thing in terms of that we will be guided or governed by the different rules. Like for in case of India, the UGC is the main organization which will actually develop the course curriculum for the PG, UG, and in terms of the new education policy, it will be completely different thing. So I think the content as such may be difficult for the whole of the South Asia as such, but we can have at least one kind of a consensus in our organizational setup that these things need to be taken, because at the end of the day, the board of studies in the every college, university, or at pan India level or the country level, these are the people who are here in this forum will be devising the course content as such. So they will take care of that aspect specifically in terms of putting the course content very specifically. But lastly, I am just that we need to come up with a field map. I mean, the broader map contours how we will actually go for this. I think in the last episode also we did talk Quraishi Saab's content in terms of how he presented the broader contours of it. But we should take a call, I think, in this particular session itself, that what will be the new course of action, both in case of the Association of South Asian Geographers as well as for the celebration component as such. Whether we can choose a, as I have last time also referred, in terms of a so-called a neutral venue where all of us actually will be able to at least think, because we have been playing as last time I said referred that cricket on a neutral venues, because in terms of the conflict as such, conflict itself is a new area of research which is emerging as such. But I think we can overcome these things as such, and I hope that some concrete things or suggestions will come up in terms of the organizing the event as well as the giving a shape to the South Asian geographers. I think those should be two big concerns, and we should come up as specifically for these meetings, because I do compliment Professor Davinderji for organizing this, but at the same time I do compliment all those who are joining it. It's very difficult for all of us to make it and for doing it, especially for this kind of a meeting. So we should come up some kind of a arrangement that how we will evolve. Thank you so much for giving me a chance to speak. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Professor Shamim Ahmad Shah. And I'm happy he has endorsed what Professor Qureshi has suggested. And he is absolutely right. We shall evolve a roadmap to proceed further. So whatever we want to do, we shall give it a roadmap and share with all of us. And whatever we could do, we will do. Definitely, we should not waste this occasion to further strengthen our relations and strengthen the subject of geography in both the countries. Thank you, Professor Shamim Ahmad Shah. Thank you. Now I will request Professor Sarfaraz Alim Vanasi, India. Professor Sarfaraz Alim.
It in terms of it's
Uh,
surprise.
it's spelled Sarfaraj, R-A-J.
Probably because of Davinderji's.
Sarfaraj. So I think he's not online. Professor Dravendra, he's not. So we shall move on to our next speaker, Dr. Saleha Jamal, Aligarh, India.
Thank you, sir. Good afternoon to everyone, and my sincere respect to everyone, to all my seniors here. Um, with all the discussions and suggestions, the summary which I received, I go with the house with having some thoughts about what earlier we talked about the roadmap. We need certain strategic planning, and particularly for the first point, that I really welcome the consensus to establish the Association of Geographers of South Asia. That will certainly help us, and it will create a platform through which we can also work out to all the other suggested points, because Under that we may also work out through certain modalities for organizing conferences, seminars, maybe some competitions may be organized through that association. That will surely, I think, provide wider publicity and identity to this group, which is very much necessary, and through which I think various other geographers from all different, even from India and outside India, can join through that group. So this is a very much important thing that need to be worked out first, for the first point. And for the other, I think a working house for each and every suggestions what have been given in the summary, a working house is needed, and one reporting house for that working house. The head reporting house will be the one, and working house for each and every point, which will work through a certain strategic planning. So because main thing what has been suggested, that is to be worked out, that only can we can get the success that what we are talking about and we are having the meeting about. So further, I think in next meeting we can discuss about the roadmap or the course of action through which we can achieve what all the things that has been suggested. So I go with the house what have been suggested. That's all from my side. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Saleha Jamal. She is also in favor of establishing an association of the South Asian geographer, just to have an umbrella under which we can work together. So her suggestion is also appropriate at the moment. Thank you, Dr. Saleha. Now, now I'll request our 14th panelist, Dr. R.K. Ebhoy, Delhi, India. Ebhoy. So I don't think he's present, Professor Devind. He's not. So we shall move on to the next speaker, Professor Vimal Kumar Kar, Guwahati, India. Vimal Kumar Kar.
Perhaps he is also not here.
So I'll request then Professor Role Kanchan, Baroda, India.
Also not present.
Then I'll request Professor Virendra Nagrale, Pune, India. He's also not.
And if you kindly allow me to make a comment, we are in the first stage of demographic transition still. The birth rate is very high, and not to say about the second rate, which you are reading it out, sir.
Thank you. Thanks for your. Now I'll request our last panelist of today's meeting, Dr. Shakil Mahmood, Lahore, Pakistan. Dr. Shakil Mahmood. Dr. Shakil.
Yes, good afternoon to all my senior geographers of South Asia. And I'm really happy to talk on this platform and to listen you all, because this is our learning stage and we are learning from all our seniors across the South Asia. So the discussion was regarding the Association of South Asian Geographers. So I'm also supporting this, that there should be association of South Asian geographers, because we have a very senior and modern geographers in Pakistan, in India, and they will work together. They will join hands together for the development of this subject. So we want to improve this discipline, and this discipline is only the development of this discipline is only possible by joining hands together.
because modern geography is comprised of GIS, remote sensing, disaster management, climate change, and many other new avenues. So my Professor Safdar Ali Shirazi is a modern geographer, and Professor Dr. Ataur Rahman is a modern geographer. So we want to work under your guidance, and we want to contribute in the presence of all these senior geographers. So my support is also with the Association of South Asian Geographers. We will organize conferences. We will organize training workshops. We will organize joint seminars, and we will work together for the development of our geography. And thank you so much for providing me this opportunity to talk on this platform.
Thank you, Dr. Shakil Mahmood, and you also in favor of establishment of an association of the South Asian geographers. So definitely we will look for your cooperation in this regard as well. Now, Professor Dharmen, do we have any other speaker from our panelist?
Sir, we didn't call Professor Siddiq, sir.
Sorry.
So,
We didn't
Professor
inform
Ishtiaq
Professor
Ahmad
Siddiq.
Sahab.
So please, so go ahead, sir, if you are online, please.
Yeah, he is there.
Yes, please.
Professor Ishtiaq Sahab.
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to speak about the South Asian Association of Geographers. I think it is a good move, and I appreciate the idea which has been plotted out by Dr. Devendra Prasad Singh. I support this idea, and I think if at all I will be of any kind of use for the association of South Asian Geographers. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor
Now, Madam
Ishtiaq.
Neelam Grover from Chandigarh, Punjab.
Ji, Professor Neelam.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here and listening to everything which is going to be of great consequence for geography as a subject. I totally endorse the idea of setting up an association of South Asian geographers, but I feel that a very important focus has to be to strengthen geography at the grassroots. Geography seems to be diluting in schools and colleges, and I guess we are getting into so many what are fields which are technically savvy. They should just be treated as tools to help geography, not as geography per se. And all the branches that have been mentioned, all the ideas that have come forth, it's been a pleasure, and I endorse most of them. Yes, a working group is necessary to, and a roadmap would be the most important thing. So I guess the sooner we start, the better it would be. And this would be a wonderful platform to have everyone together and express on at least the strength of geography. It is vital to every other social science, even to other sciences. But somehow, in the common day parlance, it is being somewhat neglected. That is my view. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to share it with all of you. Thank you.
Dr.
Thank you,
Shirazi, there is
Professor
Now,
Neelam
sir,
Grover.
it is Mansoor Alam, Dr. Mansoor Alam.
there is Shaila Gul who has raised her hand. Can you give her in?
Yes, actually, sir.
Hello,
Shaila,
sir. Hello, sir. Good evening, sir. Devendra,
Good
sir?
evening,
Yes, please.
Mansoor Alam Siddiqui.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for giving me a chance. I sincerely pay thanks to all my senior, and sir, you are the one who take the lead and make a platform so that young geographers and researchers are able to interact with our seniors, and we are going to work together in future to come. I wish all the best to all of you, sir, and we hope that the future of the geographer is going to be bright in years to come. I pray Almighty for health for all our seniors, and we should work together and do something for geography student also. I had a talk with Professor Sharma also in the past, also in Hyderabad, sir, where we discussed that geography student should be given priority in all the government competition also, like UPSC and PCS. Our students to appear in the Indian Forest Services, despite we are having a syllabus covering the forest part. So I request all of you.
Please go ahead, Rana sir.
Yeah, thank you. I am Rana Pratap from Bodhgaya. I appreciate the suggestions given by all the eminent geographers of India and Pakistan and other countries. South Asian geographers fold. Sessions have been to have a association, a strong association to discuss and how to develop the geography at par with other subjects. But I'm very sorry, today the main theme and the topic was 100 years of geography in South Asia. I was expecting that there would be a lecture from eminent professors like Professor M.S. Qureshi and others, what development of geography has been made in India within 100 years of time. Likewise, Professor Siraji may have highlighted the development of geography in Pakistan. Similarly, other eminent geographers from Bangladesh, from Sri Lanka, and other. I was expecting such, but just today what I have seen. Just there is a suggestion and further suggestion, but in reality we have perhaps we are missing here. This is my suggestion. It is what is the trend of in Pakistan, Bhutan, Nepal, Sri Lanka, that would be, I think, more appreciated and would have been more benefited on that. Thank you very much for giving the thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Rana Pratap, sir. But the circulate what we circulated, that was clearly mentioned. This is all about the 100 years of geography in South Asia, and you're absolutely right. We were expecting something from Professor Qureshi, but Professor Qureshi rightly pointed out he has given his thoughts to everyone. So we have gone through that. So then I said the house is open to further discussion on. So we are listening every participant, and we will incorporate things. And regarding the development of geography in Pakistan or India, we are ready to contribute into. Just I will ask Professor Dravinder Prasad Singh. So he should organize an online meeting, and we will let you know what we have done in the past. Thank you. So,
Professor
we
Shirazi,
have
just a
yes,
minute.
yes,
Professor. I'm MS Qureshi.
Yes.
No, I think there is a lot of confusion and misunderstanding. These meetings are not for putting a survey of 100 years of geography by me or by anybody else. This was only to strategize the celebration of 100 years of geography in
Absolutely right.
subcontinent, because geography came to this subcontinent, and for the first time in 1924 it was introduced in Aligarh Muslim University, both in MA and BA. But Sarfraz is not here. He is the authority on this whole development of geography at that particular point of time. Few very, very important professors came out from that particular era. Dr. Ibadur Rahman Khan, Dr. Qazi Sajuddin Ahmad, Dr. Nafis Ahmad, Dr. Uh, uh,
Tahir.
S.M. Ali, Dr. Tahir Rizvi. So many people came, but unfortunately, the government thought that the faculty was not very qualified. So the post graduation was abandoned, and it was again restarted in 1930. So we were actually looking towards Professor Salahuddin Qureshi and his team in Aligarh Muslim University to take the lead. But unfortunately, the lead was not taken. And therefore, the work which Dr. Devendra Prasad Singh is doing is actually founder and the makers of geography. That was his major concern, and in that context, he has created some volumes. But in between, this 100 year came, and it was a sort of it's an emergency situation in which we thought that let us discuss and discuss and try to work out some minimum which can be done uh, for celebrating this 100 years in 2024. So there is one consensus where everybody agrees is establishment of the Association of South Asian Geographers. That is very a positive one. And after that, many things will follow. Then we will work out strategies for country papers, for the contributions of the foreign geographers who have come to, and written about India. So rest of the things are going to follow, and that is why we thought that by this month, by 30th or whatever date has been said about the last meeting, where we come out with A, B, C, D.
Yes.
Now, we cannot go on discussing, and what I said that grinding the grounded wheat. So पीस्ट पेशेंट किसान को पीसते जाइए उसको आटे को पीसते जाइए कितनी बार पीसेंगे उसको so we have to be very precise and very clear what we are wanting to do. We cannot we have not the capacity of Hanumanji who can bring the whole mountain. We have to behave like Arjun, who sees only the eye of the bird, not the whole bird also. So we have to be very focused, and this focus has to be to end on 30th of this month, and then we can work out. We are going to do this and this and this, not beyond that. Because unless we do that, 100 years of geography, writing 100 years of geography is not a joke for me or for anybody. And moreover, I have already crossed 80, and at least five, from God's sake, I had my memory and my heart. These two things are intact. Rest of things have deteriorated. I am diabetic, I have blood pressure, I am arthritic. There are so many limitations. Therefore, uh, all these senior people cannot be of much use, and therefore the professors like Shirazi Saab and other younger generation should take over. That is the our role may be just advisory whenever we are required. That advice can be given, not beyond that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor Qureshi. You have rightly elaborated the purpose of today's online meeting, and we all clear that the basic purpose of today's discussion is to make a roadmap to celebrate the 100 years of geography, and we are grateful for your very good suggestions, constructive remarks, and further suggestions. Thank you, Professor Qureshi. Now, Professor Dravind, do we have anyone else to speak on?
You shall invite whoever
I think
wants.
Professor Devendra Singh, I think from Punjab University, I think we have seen some raised hand. Who was there from Punjab University, please?
One
Let me.
Saleha Gul.
Yeah. Please
She is
request
from
us.
Peshawar University, please.
Oh, acha, okay.
Saleha Gul. and another Professor Dhyan Kaur.
Professor Dhyan Kaur is there.
Where
Dhyan
is
Kaur is
Professor
there.
Dhool now? Because she's raising her hand for a long time.
No, sir, I did not raise my hand, but anyhow, I would just like to congratulate Professor Amit Qureshi and Professor D.P. Singh, who have taken the lead, and they have taken much pain to prepare that theme paper. And we all need to work very hard to see these things come out and materialize so that we are able to take our discipline forward, which is now is really facing tough challenges from technology. Also, we have to incorporate all those things. As Professor Neelam said, we don't have to depend much upon all these things single handedly. Technology needs to be incorporated, but that should be used as a tool, and we should not deviate from the core. Our core geography needs to remain under focus, and as has already been said, that theoretically we are not very strong, and we need to work very hard to develop our theories also, and to be on a very strong footing for our future generations. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. I'm so
Thank
happy.
you.
Now,
Thank you, Professor Dhyan.
Siraji Sahab, we may
Yes.
request our guests of honor, distinguished guests, and chief guest uh, to speak upon.
So we have guest of honor. Shall we start from the guest of honor, Dr. Ataur Rahman?
Professor Shirazi, I'm sorry. Just can I just come up for a 1 minute, please?
Please
Professor
go ahead.
Shirazi.
Please
Professor,
go ahead.
yeah. Just I'm sorry, extremely sorry, but actually, Professor Qureshi's intervention actually made me to speak on this aspect as specifically. Am I audible?
Please go.
Yes, sir.
Yes, you are.
Yeah. I have one, please. Before I again request with due regards to all the senior professors there, and I think Qureshi sahab made it very clear about it. Kindly take it to some logical end, because we could see the absentees there, and I'm sure all what Qureshi sahab referred in terms of the people who were absent there, they were not absent today. They were absent in the last session also. So that actually we have to take a call in terms of why we should now go. Qureshi sahab referred that it has to be the young geographers, in the sense those who actually can actually lead it in terms of being actually involved in the work right now. But I do agree at the same time that we need the blessings of our seniors as such. My simple suggestion is there should be something concrete coming out of this today's meeting. Believe me, I was traveling. I had to go somewhere because on the weekends we have many commitments in the service. I had to travel almost 100 kilometers up down to attend this meeting, but I made it a commitment that I'll have to attend it. Now, point is that we should, at the end of the day, be having something to take home. Let there be a one ad hoc or an in-bank committee first be made today only, out of those people who actually have joined. Let's begin with this 100 lot. Out of this 100 lot that we have started it, then subsequently we can come. It should not be a customary kind of a meeting every day that we come and discuss about things, how we should go. Let's take two calls as such. That one is about the ad hoc. You can, even if you refer it as an ad hoc committee as such, the this will be the ad hoc committee which will actually look after the nitty-gritties of it, whatever it is there, many countries as such, and then also the further course of it. So we should have something concrete in
Nashistand, Guftand, Barkhastand. They came, they sat, they talked, and they went. That is what we are doing actually. Nashistand, Guftand, Barkhastand. This will become continuous. I think
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Shamim Shah, that at least some structure has to come up so that they start working on that. And I will request DP Singh Saab to separate this 100 years from his project on makers and founders of geography. Otherwise, everything is going to jumbled up, and that work which he is doing is going to suffer, and this is also going to get stuck up. That is my concern. And moreover,
Uh,
the younger generation should take over now. This 100 years, they should take over and plan as they feel like.
uh, Thank you, Professor Qureshi and Professor Shamima Chasa. You're absolutely right. We shall evolve a strategy now and without further delay. So I'll request Professor Darvinder Prasad Singh. So in during the meeting or soon after the meeting, we shall formulate a committee, ad hoc committee, to look after all the affairs of the 100 years of geography in South Asia. Thank you very much, sir.
Sir,
So,
Siraji Sahab,
yes,
with all respect, may I request you people to authorize someone, two, three, four, or five people who are present here to organize a ad hoc committee and take a consent, seek consent from the people who are present here. Should we authorize four or five people to prepare a ad hoc committee?
this is the right suggestion we can proceed for. We can, whosoever present here, we can ask them to work as ad hoc committee. So I can suggest if from my end, I will suggest Dr. Ataur Rahman, he can work into the ad hoc committee.
Excuse me, sir. We have not heard anything from our Bangladesh delegates. Let us listen from them, and then finally come to this one.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, Dr. Shahidul Islam.
Siraji Sahab, first of all, we should complete our list. Now we
Yes,
should
I think
switch over
agenda.
to guest of honors, distinguished guest, and chief guest. And after that,
So,
we shall take a decision.
yes, I agree with Professor Singh. We shall first finish today's agenda. Now I'll request guest of honor, Professor Ataur Rahman, to speak on.
Uh, Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Safdar Ali Shirazi, Professor Devendra Singh, Professor Qureshi, and all my worthy geographer from across the South Asian countries. Can you hear me, please?
Yes,
Yes.
yes, we hear you.
Okay. At the moment, I am at Doha, Qatar, and I am waiting for my connecting flight to Peshawar, back to my hometown. I attended a conference in Nepal, and now I'm way back to my hometown. So I'm sorry I couldn't join your meeting from the start. So I have a time, so therefore I joined a meeting. I absolutely agree with all the worthy colleagues. Uh, my suggestion would be for the centennial celebrations that on 30th or on 31st December, we have a centennial meeting. A presentation would be there. But at the same time, my suggestion would be to finalize an international conference in recognition of centennial celebration. So for that very reason, it should be organized. My suggestion would be either in Bangladesh or in Sri Lanka, so that all the geographers from the South Asian countries, they may join us, they may join it easily. So one is that. Similarly, in each and every country, there should be one centennial conference as well. It should not be one. One should be international conference, and there should be a series of national conferences in order to effectively celebrate the centennial celebration. So I can offer one conference from on behalf of the Pakistan Geographical Association, and in consultation with Professor Dr. Safdar Ali Shirazi, we will definitely organize one centennial conference as well. Besides this, my another suggestion would be we are also celebrating this centennial celebration, but we should have one small special issue in any recognized journals of geography. So I earlier also proposed that we must have one special issue in Pakistan Geographical Review. Professor Safdar Ali Shirazi, he is the chief editor of that journal. So our eminent geographer must contribute in that special issue, which should have a special reflection on the centennial celebrations. Similarly, I assigned some tasks to in our Khyber Pakhtunkhwa province with respect to centennial celebrations and to explore the contribution of eminent geographers. That in our special issue as well. So you will find the Pakistan Geographical Association in the front line, inshallah, and you will find us in the front row, and we will be working day and night in order to make these celebrations a memorable, inshallah. So with these words, thank you very much, and thank you for joining us, and thank you for giving us the opportunity. Thank you, Professor Davendra Singh and Professor Qureshi, for taking the lead, taking all the geographers across the South Asian on board. Thank you. Thank you all. Much obliged.
Uh, Thank you, Professor Atar Rahman, for your very valuable input in terms of holding organization in member countries and as well as a country at some venue where we all could attend the conference easily. The way you have pointed out Bangladesh or Sri Lanka, so those are actually easier to get the visa and all these sort of things. So we can manage. But for that matter, we will request the geographers from Bangladesh or the Sri Lanka, so they should come forward and advise us on this. Thank you very much. Now I will request the next speaker, uh, Professor Nasreen Rafiq, Professor and Chairperson, Department of Geography, Environment, Dhaka University. Professor Nasreen Rafiq Sahiba. Is she here?
I think she is not present today. On behalf of her, can I speak?
Yes, you can, please.
Uh, I'm Professor Shoaidul Islam from Dhaka University. I thank you very much for these nice initiatives. And of course, can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yes,
can
yes.
hear you.
Of course, it's a very good drive, and I don't like to discuss anymore further. So I'm just focusing on few things very briefly. One thing is just Professor Ataur Rahman said that there should be some third place where all the or the concerned geographers can meet together. And if it comes for Bangladesh, we love to organize that kind of conference or regional scale or international scale. And the another things what you said that as currently I am the secretary of Bangladesh Geographical Society. So what I have learned today, I will bring it to my society and I will talk to the president and other members of the executive committee. If any responsibility goes to our shoulders, we love to continue that. We'll be working hard to make this event successful. Two important part of this event is one is the event in 2024 and another one is to bring out a series of volume as has been outlined. But to complete this journey, the most important thing is to establish our association. And if there is anything to be volunteered for that association from Bangladesh side, as I said, the Dhaka University is the oldest university, and geography department is the oldest geography department in Bangladesh. Professor Nasreen Rafiq, she is about to complete her tenure, and if everything goes smoothly, I think I'll be taking over that. So, as it secretary of Bangladesh Geographical Society, I will bring to the agenda to our committee, and we'll love to contribute the process. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Shadul Islam. So you're agreed what Professor Ataur Rahman said. So we look forward to meet you or to enjoy your hospitality in Bangladesh. Thank you very much. Now I think we have Professor Umesh K. Mandal, Central Department of Geography, Tribhuvan University, Kathmandu, Nepal. So,
Not here, sir.
anybody? So he's not there. So with this, we have completed the discussion of our panelist. Now I'll request for the
Now
vote
we
of
have,
thanks.
now, no, sir, no, sir. Now have our distinguished guests and chief guest.
So, our distinguished guest is Professor V.K. Sirvastiva.
Yes, sir,
So
he is.
I request him to give his speech. Professor V.K. Sirvastiva. So
Well,
he is here.
my greetings to all. I have joined a bit late. This meeting, I was listening, of course, to many suggestions have been placed in our knowledge. I very much agree with Professor Qureshi that the main aim of this sort of meeting is to focus on founders and makers of geography in India. Of course, in the right direction, the 100 years of geography in South Asia. Sir Hamid Qureshi has already said that we should divide the line of action between senior geographers and between younger geographers and between those departments which are now coming up to take up the challenge. So the establishment of an association of South Asian geographers is one. And then writing about the geographical development in the South Asia is second. Many ideas have been flown over, and we have devoted much more time to this uh, very significant project of drawing the attention of geographers on 100 years of geography in South Asia. And many more suggestions, many more colleagues have come forward from Bangladesh, from Sri Lanka, and from Pakistan. Of course, from Nepal, the response is gradually coming, and we can make a good effort to plan the modus operandi of studying and operating the course of 100 years of geography in South Asia. And I very much agree with Professor Qureshi that reins should be given to younger generations, and not everything should be placed on over our shoulders. We have already got something or the other going on so far as this founders and makers of geography in India is concerned. So that this is very right suggestion that we should come to a conclusion now, make a committee or a group of persons who can carry on the noble idea of throwing light on 100 years of geography in South Asia. I thank you very much. Thank you, DP Singh Saab. Thank you, Mr. President, for giving me an opportunity to speak to you something just in a hurry. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor
Siraji Sahab,
Virendra Kumar.
respected Siraji Sahab,
Yes,
I need to clarify some things. Number one,
please.
that the project of founders and makers of modern geography in India is a separate thing. And we are not clubbing all these things all together. And in the name of founders and makers of modern geography in India. It is another thing. We are doing it. And Organization of South Asian Geographers is another thing. There are no any connection between these two. but there must be must have some connections, because both the things cannot be separated, because when we will be talking for founders and makers of modern geography in India, some uh, people from South Asia will also be mentioned. And so far as the formation of association is concerned, uh, it is also another a different thing. But we should have do all these things, and with blessings and help of you all, we will come to a right result, good result. Thank you, sir, very much.
Thank you, Professor Dharmendra Prasad Singh.
So
You
our
actually,
chief guest should be invited.
let me say something, sir. Since we already have a forum to speak on, that's why we have used this forum
Yes.
to organize the 100 years of geography. And in this forum, we floated this idea. So there is no harm if we have discussed in this forum. We can separate it in later time. Now I'll request Professor, distinguished guest Professor R.B.P. Singh, former Vice Chancellor Patna University and London Open University Patna, former Professor and Head of Department of Geography, Patna University, Patna, India, former President Nagy. Please, sir.
Perhaps he is not here, sir.
He is not here. Then I think we shall come on to the vote of thanks.
No, sir. Our chief guest
Oh,
and
sorry.
presidential address.
Oh, yes, 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 yes.
Chief guest.
Our President, Professor V.S.
No, sir.
Adege.
First our chief guest, Professor Nazrul Islam.
Ah,
Honorable
sorry.
Professor Nazrul Islam is the chief guest of the today's episode.
So I request Professor Nazrul Islam to speak on, please.
Okay. Hello. Good evening, everybody. I'm Nazrul Islam here in Dhaka. I've been listening to the whole. I'm lucky that I could be present today. In the previous meeting, I had to leave half the way. Thank you very much for inviting me and to be so-called chief guest. It's not necessary. We are all friends, and I think most of the points that should be discussed have already been discussed. And I commend Professor Qureshi for a very thoughtful presentation in the earlier meeting and also today. And I think I support many of the suggestions here, particularly at the end, Professor Attaur Rahman, when he said that there should be national level meeting on the centennial in each country. That will facilitate the regional South Asian final meeting. So this is number one. I think Professor Shahidul Islam, who spoke a little while ago, he is the right person to represent Bangladesh. He is currently the General Secretary of the Bangladesh Geographical Society, the oldest one, established in 1957 by Professor Nafis Ahmed in the Department of Geography. So he can represent the Bangladesh Geographical Society. There is another association called National Association, Bangladesh National Geographical Association, BNGA. So they should also be invited and included in any of the committees. That can be arranged. And there's some kind of rivalry between the two, but they also work together on common issues. And Shahidul Islam, as he said, will take over as the chairman or head of the Department of Geography at Dhaka University, I think beginning 1st of January, in a month's time, less than a month's time. So as the departmental head, he will have control over a large body of faculty and students. Not control, at least the ability to command unity. And the other suggestion I think is wonderful. First time made by someone, Dr. Ataur Rahman, that a special issue of the recognized journals in the region can be dedicated. Each journal can dedicate one issue to celebration of 100 years. In Bangladesh, we have two leading journals, Oriental Geographer, which has been established, started in the 50s, 57 in fact again, and they're celebrating. The department will be celebrating 75 years of its establishment next year, 1 year before 2024. And so this journal, I think Shahid al-Islam either is already the editor or he will be the editor. It rotates every 2 years. And they can publish one issue dedicated to the centenary of geography in South Asia, and maybe also another issue on 75 years of geography in Bangladesh. So I think these two suggestions I fully support. About the association of geographers, so that I think will be association of individual membership of individual geographers. Is that the idea? Or a federation of geographical associations or societies in South Asia? Or there can be both, an individual membership based association and a society or association based federation. Then we can include almost everybody. I think these are the 2 points I would like to re-emphasize. Oh, another small thing, between now and the final celebration of the centennial, there can be some sort of a newsletter or bulletin organized by the ad hoc committee or the convening committee. It can be every 2 months or every 3 months or irregular, following one of these discussions that we are having, for example, now. It can be a 4-page or 8-page newsletter or news contributed by members from each country. So this can be another thought. You can think about it. So I think this is all I had to say. And thank you very much for this very well-organized meeting. There will always be some absentees. Last time I could attend only half the way. So I think this is my congratulations and thanks to all of you, particularly to Professor Qureshi, who has given very thoughtful ideas on the issue. And about subject areas, we can discuss it later, which areas has to be. There have been suggestions about promotion of geography at college level, school level. I think these will come automatically when we observe the centennial nationally or regionally. So with these words, I would like to thank you again for inviting me and giving me the time to speak a few words. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Ramsa. So we shall proceed further. Ji, Professor Darwind.
Dr. Chattopadhyay wants to intervene. There.
Ji, sir. Sri Kumar.
Yeah. Sorry to intervene again. One of the points what I was trying to make, which has just I think flown over our head, that linking this celebration with the national science academies. Geographers are very much comfortable to live in silos.
Unmute, please, unmute.
You have muted yourself.
Yeah. So this is, because the National Science Academy, the linkage that they have to recognize. Like I muted in India, like and they said INSA or Indian, what is called that Science Congress. So there has to be a slot they should recognize that geography is a subject, is a science, is an academic subject, has completed 100 years. Now, there should be an interface with them in all countries, in all these countries, that has to be looked into it, and also to bring in the government department, whoever is funding it, because finally you need funds to organize the programs. So these two aspects, I think, from all the countries is required. And then two committees, one committee for the South Asian level and one committee at the country level. That sort of an activities. At least let us start some sort of a doing the things. Let us stop now more or, as Professor Kulesh is telling, deliberating the same issue, but action. And action has to be in these fronts. Organization, linking with the government, with the funding agency, and this is our roadmap. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, Professor Dharmen, do we have anyone else to speak on?
Sir, presidential address, please.
Sir. Let me. Now I
Dr.
request
Vinayak S. Phadke.
Dr.
Vinayak S. Phadke, former professor and head
please.
Department of Geography, Mumbai University.
Please proceed, Professor. Sorry, Professor?
Phadke.
Professor V.S. Padike. I'll request, sir, for a presidential address.
Thank you, sir. All the respected dignitaries, including Professor M.H. Qureshi, who has delivered the keynote address, Professor Sabdal Ali Shiraji from Lahore, who acted as a moderator, Professor Nasrul Islam from Dhaka, whom I met way back in 1987. Distinguished guest from the country, Professor V.K. Srivastav from Gorakhpur, and many others who have been invited to participate in the deliberations of this meet, organized by the Institute of Environmental Research and Rural Development, Patna. And Professor Singh, Devendra Singh, director of the institute, who is at the helm in organizing the meet. I indeed feel honored by an invitation that I received from Professor Devendra Singh to preside over today's session. At the same time, I apologize that I could not open the link and therefore I joined a little late. Professor Singh has taken a lot of efforts in organizing this program aimed at bringing out the developments in geography in South Asia since its inception as a subject of study at the graduate and postgraduate levels in Aligarh Muslim University in 1924. In fact, as all of us know, he has organized a series of meets to discuss the contributions of founders of geography over the last 2 years or so, even defying COVID, to underline the efforts they have made in bringing it as a subject of learning in their university, along with contributions they have made
in promoting teaching and research in the subject. We should be very thankful to him. We should also appreciate the efforts put in by Professor M.H. Qureshi for tracing history of learning in Indian subcontinent right since the days of Takshashila and Nalanda universities that were known as centers of higher learning throughout the world centuries before Christian era, along with the disciplines they focused on. He has diligently focused on the contribution of colonial rulers and the people themselves in promoting higher learning during the colonial period, along with the motives behind such efforts. After independence, the process was accelerated by various means, such as the Acts of Parliament. He has given details of the placement of universities in different faculties and the different names other than geography assigned, such as regional planning. He has not forgotten to acknowledge the contributions made by eminent foreign geographers such as Joseph E. Schwarzberg, who is responsible for the Atlas of South Asia, Cultural Atlas of South Asia, David Soper, O.H.K. Spade, who all geographers know for his work on India and Pakistan, A.T.A. Learmonth, who has also subsequently modified and extended the work of Spade, Dudley Stamp, who is known for regional surveys, Graham Chapman, etc. We should place on record our gratitude to Professor Sunil Dev, Professor R.S. Yadav, and Professor Suryakant for their written inputs. I know that the list does not end here, as I know many professors, as we can see from the list of panelists all over India who have contributed their mind in deliberating on the issues pertaining to subject during the last 30 sessions or so. We express our gratitude for their effort in promoting the cause. Today's meeting was aimed at finalization of decisions related to celebration of 100 years of geography in the Indian subcontinent. Some decisions have already been made in the light of the presentation, online and online discussions in earlier meetings, which are to be given a final shape. I therefore do not understand why new topics were suggested. Although, of course, there were some topics which I also feel that they are left out, and one such topic is biogeography, which has not found a place in the structure that has been worked out. Similarly, I feel another area which has not been given some place, and that is cartography, which is very important as geographers cannot work without maps. Third important aspect which has been left out is quantitative analysis and its contribution to promotion of geography, particularly the modification of cartographic techniques developed by statisticians to suit geographical requirements, such as factor analysis, then regression, residuals, and now some people have worked on the spatialization of certain other techniques like correlation and chi-square. Now, from the discussion, two things emerge. One is the finalization of the volume, which has to be taken up because now we are coming to an end of 2022 and hardly any time is left. Only 1 year is left because the celebration is to be made in 2024. So during the course of 1 year, whatever we have discussed and finalized has to be taken up, and that is the first priority. The second priority, as has been suggested, is the Association of South Asian Geographers. Now, another suggestion has come that is regarding the Federation of Associations. That's a good idea because that will be an umbrella under which many of the associations from different countries will come, and that will help us in bringing many associations of these South Asian countries. Now, therefore, rather than spending more time on finding works in new subjects, let us continue with whatever that is already finalized. Do with it, and if something is left out, it can be taken care of at a later date. I am very much thankful again to all those who have worked seriously on this, and thank you very much for inviting
For
me.
for vote of thanks, for for vote of thanks, I will request Professor V.
Yes,
Madha Suresh, Senior
yes,
Fellow,
sir.
Center. Sir, Professor V. Madha Suresh.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Uh, at the outset, I thank the organizers, in particular Devendra Prasad Singh, for giving me an opportunity to propose a vote of thanks in this August gathering. Uh, 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 at the outset, I thank Professor Kabir from Utkal University, who has welcomed all the senior professors, geographers, for this the 100 years of geography in South Asia program. Uh, Followed by Professor Devendra Prasad Singh, invited and introduced to this gathering Professor Sabtar Ali Siraj, University of Punjab, Lahore, Pakistan, who was moderated from 4 p.m. to till now, almost 6, we crossed 6 p.m. Tirelessly, he has highlighted and he get involved with these senior professors how to go with this program. So I thankful to you, sir. Despite your schedule, I mean busy schedule, you are here with us to drive these proceedings. As a panelist, I would like to thank the senior professor, Dr. Sri Kumar Satapataya sir from Thiruvananthapuram, who was highlighted to have a state level discussions needed uh, to address various issues, particularly finance and the technical, and wanted to have a journal of South Asia, and also he said that. We need to have association with various ministries like Ministry of Earth and the Science and the Department of Science and Technology, and to be involved in, and so that we can have some kind of financial support to have various programs and so on. And the next panelist was Professor Amit Kumar. He used using PPT, and he discussed about the planning and the programs of the forthcoming commemoration of 10 years of 100 years of geography. And Professor Yadava, he also accepted the work which was carried out by Professor Qureshi sir, wholeheartedly accepted, and Professor Savimita Sawan from Mumbai. she is embracing to take up a tour for the college as well as for university level students to show them the rural environment, to have the feeling. And also, she wanted to highlight the job opportunity to be explored for the students. That has to be strengthened. And Professor Kumar Sami, Professor IC Sir, Senior Fellow from Bhardas University, he also endorsed the work made by Professor Qureshi sir. And Professor Salahuddin Qureshi sir, he wanted to focus on socio-economic activities and the geopolitical to be strengthened. Even we had Usmania University this last week where the emphasis was given by a professor from Kabul that is social economic geography is coming down, even the political geography also is come down. So one has to be take care of such a discipline. I mean, the branches of the geography and uh, Professor Jaglan from Calcutta, Gurukshetra, he's appreciated the work of Professor Qureshi sir, and he highlighted to join with a federation of Southeast Asia, and and also he requested to have organization structure so that based on the structure that we can go ahead with this program. And Professor Samim Shah from Srinagar. So, sir has addressed the need to the shape of the present work, and he wanted to go for committees to various level, national level as well as South Asian level, and he also accepted as a volumes of work made by Professor Qureshi sir, and so that it may be useful for the board of studies also at various level. So I thank Professor Samim sir. And Professor Jamal is highlighted to have a common platform to have a seminar conferences for disseminating that new areas. So I thank Professor Jamal sir, and Professor Sakil Muhammad. He also gave the outline about this that a model developed by Qureshi sir, and Ishaq Ahmed and Professor Neelam Grover also endorsed the model, and Mansoor Alam, my friend, I met him in the two conferences at Osmania as well as in the Central University, Haryana. So he wished to work with all the department across the country for the development of geography. And the senior professor, Professor Anand Pratap Singh, yes, supported and we want to have a lineage with Pakistan, India, Nepal, and Sri Lanka. And my brother Atur Rahman, to whom I have associated for more than 2 decades in various academic activities, and he only proposed to have a centennial conference either at Sri Lanka or in Dhaka, and I think it's a good step to go ahead with these the conferences. And after that also uh, he highlighted to have a journal, um, um, uh, this where he expected the senior professor's contribution in this journal. And Professor Sahul Islam is agreed to have a conference. Sahul Islam from Dhaka. So I wholeheartedly we thank you, sir, for accepting and voluntarily for having that conference at your place. Probably maybe 2023 or maybe 2024 at your convenience time. So that we can join together. We can do some good work for this discipline. And distinguished guest, so getting a time. So just I read the name of the persons. The two distinguished guests, Professor Srivastava from DDD Kharagpur University. So he also highlighted about this the work done by the Professor Qureshi sir, and Nasrul Islam, and Professor Sri Kumar again highlighted want to have that interface with all the countries and the department, and also emphasized to have a committee at the next level as well as Asian level. So I thank Professor Sri Kumar sir once again, and Senior Professor Professor Patak from Mumbai University also spoke about the good work making still making and carrying away by the Professor Devendra Prasad Singh. Despite his, I met him on 2 3 conferences. I, so he's very nice man, nice personality. He having some health issues. He could not walk properly also. But with that, despite all the issues, see, he wanted to link like a linking of North Indian rivers to South Indian river. He want to link everybody, not only the Indian rivers. He want to link rivers with other neighboring countries also for the promoting of subject. I thankful, sir. Once again, I thank each and everybody who has participated in this event. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Professor Suresh, for your vote of thanks for the participants. Now I'll request Professor Dharmendra to further say something. Professor Dharmendra Prasad Singh.
We are grateful to all senior and young geographers from South Asian countries, and the suggestions are very productive, fruitful, and discussion and deliberations have also been very nice. And now we are coming to the end of today's session, but we have already declared that the final meeting for decision of modality for organization of South Asian Geographers Association and celebration of 100 years of geography in South Asia will be declared, if you all agree, on the 30th of December this month, sir. And for the ad hoc committee, as most of our friends, and particularly Shah Samim Shah of Srinagar has suggested that today we must go with some decisions like announcement of organizing committee for all for conducting and convening and coordinating all such activities, sir. So we request people from countries of South Asia to nominate persons uh, for organizing the ad hoc committee, sir.
So how many members in the ad hoc committee? How many member? Each one from each country? One from each country or what? So
More,
I think
more than one from each country. It may be 20.
from Pakistan, I'll suggest Dr. Ataur Rahman, number one. And number two, I would also like to be part of that ad hoc committee. So Professor Ataur Rahman and I will be from Pakistan. We are the president and vice president of Pakistan Geographical Association. At the moment, we are heading uh, geography departments, the largest geography departments like Punjab University and Peshawar University, and we are in a position to assist rest of our South Asian colleagues in a more beneficial manner.
I think it is.
Not audible, sir.
सर की आवाज नहीं आ रही है सर
Qureshi sir.
सर की आवाज नहीं आ रही
Qureshi sir, please unmute yourself. Qureshi sir, unmute कीजिए please. आप
Madam, we cannot listen, ma'am. No.
Okay, sorry. Then my suggestion is that all right, let the countries nominate their members, but this is not the forum to nominate members. We can suggest names after taking the consent. Indian members will be more than two from
Yes, yes.
Pakistan, two from Bangladesh, because Indian subcontinent has
Very
uh,
big, sir.
great geography, many geography universities, geography subjects are there, and therefore we also have to see north, south, east, west, uh, and there are other allied disciplines where geographers are there. So we will have to take time. I think my suggestion is that, all right, Professor Shirazi and Professor Shahidul Islam, they can go for their nominations. And in India, there may be a consultation in which we can have 10, 15, whatever number is there, we can also communicate. At the moment, we cannot go for the Indian delegation being nominated by us.
Yeah, Professor Qureshi is rightly pointed out. So India is the largest
Yes, sir.
region, so you can have more than two members. So why not we fix number of ad hoc committee members from each country? It may
I
be
I think it is wise. I agree with Qureshi sir, Professor Qureshi and Professor Singh. They could have some time to think about that and come forward with some representative from India,
No, no.
from Bangladesh and Pakistan side. I Professor Safdar Ali, you can take the responsibility, and from Bangladesh side, I can take to nominate two-person.
so it's agreed.
Sir, shall I say something, please?
G, please.
Thank you, sir. Qureshi sir rightly pointed out. Let us have one. What is the role of the committee in this ad hoc body? That should be pointed out, and then an email can be sent that whosoever would like to volunteer themselves in this particular line of action may please give up their names, and also can be suggested both, and then once we get it, if they come voluntarily, it will work out more well, so that will get materialized. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
That is a better suggestion, that let there be volunteers, and the volunteers may nominate themselves, and then a group can be formed. And these name may be collected by Devendra Prasad Singh. There is no problem.
Yes.
Yes,
So
sir.
this is right. So Professor Darvinder Prasad Singh so take on to this responsibility of formulating the ad hoc committee.
Yes,
So
sir.
you can send an email, you can invite nominations or volunteer people, and then you can formulate. But it is the urgency of the time. Obviously, we were asked to give something at the end of this meeting. So that's why we have suggested instantaneously. Otherwise, you can take time.
Me
Shirazi
again,
sir,
I think Devendra Singh sir can take the lead and can work as a focal point, and maybe a couple of maybe weeks time or 2 weeks time, he will come forward with a proposed agri committee.
So
10
I
days are enough.
agreed.
We
Sir,
can
I
take
suggest in a week times this should be finalized, being time
okay,
short.
no
So
problem.
agreed, sir. Agreed.
शिराजी साहब मैं कुछ बोलना चाहता हूँ.
जी please बताओ रहना.
Actually, my another suggestion would be parallel to the volunteer members कि जो नेशनल एसोसिएशंस हैं उनमें से किसी एक बंदे को भी ले लें. I mean the executive member from the national association. One of them should also be there, part of the associate volunteers. So I think they must be kept on board, so that there should be a true representation from the national representations. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. I think
That is why
Professor Singh, you
I
can
say
speak.
that that is why my
One,
suggestion is that let the countries consult themselves within themselves and then come out with the names rather than
Yes,
nominating here.
agreed. Agreed, sir.
Bangladesh also can think of nominating some people from societies, from departments, and so Pakistan, and then India also. So within a week, one can communicate within themselves, and then a common list may be created. That is the
One thing need to be little bit clarified that from I understand India is a very big country, so the number should not be two, three, or four. It should be more than that. But for Pakistan, for Bangladesh, if you give me the idea or give us the idea how many people we are going to be there, two, three, or one, then we can talk to our association and we can select one, two, or three from our respective country. And if you ask me, I should say two from this country, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and more from India.
that the countries have to decide. We cannot decide on their behalf. That is their autonomy. They can nominate five or three or two. They have to decide. That autonomy should be there.
It's fine, sir. I think that I have just told you the Professor Dharmendra Prasad Singh should take the initiative and
Okay.
formulate the guideline, and we will adhere to that. Two
Okay.
members from each country and more than two from India. So that can be carried out, sir. Please. I think
Fine.
the outcome of today's discussion is this.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, sir.
Chalo.
Thank you very much.
Chalo, thank you.
Then
Thank you, sir.
some more clarification from my side, sir, that it should be an independent organization, not the federation of association. Because if we create federation of association of countries,
Hello.
it may create many problems.
Hello.
So it should be an independent organization, taking consent from all other national associations, but it should be an independent one. And with support and blessings and cooperation from all people, I will coordinate and accept this responsibility to to override and collect names from different countries, and it will be produced to all of you within a week. I will
I think
coordinate,
this
sir.
is so. Please go ahead, sir. Thank you very much for attending today's meeting, and I'm really grateful to all of you who have contributed with good suggestions. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, all.
Siraji Sahab,
Ji, ji,
thanks to you also. Siraji Sahab, you have conducted the
ji, ji.
meeting very nicely. So I congratulate you.
Also,
I thank you very much.
so,
Thank you.
Rana sahab, I'm really grateful to you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Siraji
Okay.
Sahab is one of
Ji, Rana
our
sahab.
very
Ji, ji.
important member. He is one
I know.
I'm
very,
Very,
I'm
very
grateful,
nice.
sir. I'm
very
grateful.
precious, very
Yeah,
important.
yeah.
And
Yes, sir.
बहुत
he and
शुक्रिया.
Ataur Rahman Sahab are
Yes,
the
sir.
जी,
persons behind all these things which are going.
Yes, sir.
thank
And
you.
I once again, request our friend VM Suresh, Madha Suresh.
Sir. Sir.
People, sir, you must collect names from Sri Lanka
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
and communicate us within a week, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sir.
Thank you, sir.
And also other countries as well. You know, take Nepal and the other countries as well. So we have to take on to them on board, sir.
Yes, sir,
Yes,
sir,
sir.
actually. But
Yes, sir.
Madha Suresh has
Sir.
connection with Sri Lankan people.
Thank you. Thank
And
you very
for
much,
Suresh,
sir.
Yes, sir.
गुरुजनों को नमस्कार।
I,
मेरा छोटा सा सजेशन होगा सर कि कुछ रिसर्च स्कॉलर को भी वॉलंटियर के तौर पे रखा जाए तो अच्छा
वो
रहेगा।
कुमार साहब, वो सब काम आप ही लोगों ने करना है, हमने कुछ नहीं करना। ये काम आप ही ने करना है, हमने सिर्फ आपको रास्ता दिखाना है।
you
that's
come
good.
forward, you come
Rest
forward
assured, you will have the
and
responsibility.
take the responsibility.
Sir, I cannot speak, but I can understand.
Okay.
चलें जी, I
Meeting
think,
should be off.
Yeah,
जी
it's
जी
off.
जी
Okay. Thank you.
with
Within
जी,
the
with